Now, despite the calls, the government maintained its fiscal conservative approach, so much so that the country was on track to hit the 60% target well ahead of the strict fiscal targets has been repeated by the opposition and others many times, including up to the 2025 elections. In fact, every time a crisis is in the rearview mirror, there are calls for easing up and spending more. I remind you the intention of the opposition was to tap the fiscal space created by the reduction in debt to GDP, coupled with what they called natural growth in revenues to fund their election promises. The question than what was absolutely necessary to navigate hard times. I don't say all this to embarrass the opposition or any Jamaican. I recognize that life on our little island isn't exactly easy, and wanting more help from the government is only natural. I say this as a reminder to Jamaicans and the government, don't make a good crisis go to waste. Let this be the final nail in the coffin of grandiose calls for more any budget debate presentation of the dangers of easing up. I leave you again with the words of Dr. Nigel Clark as he departed Jamaica for the IMF. Let it stand as his legacy and a future warning.
There is no breathing space. It is crisis on top of crisis that you have to be able to navigate, which is why I've put such an emphasis on resilience. That if it's one thing that has characterized my tenure as Minister of Finance and the Public Service, it has been to emphasize the preeminent need for resilience for the Jamaican state to be prosperous and to succeed. Resilience economically, making sure we have low debt, high reserves in our central bank, and the framework to sustain low and stable inflation, and economic and resilience to natural disaster and other forms of resilience.
So there you have it, listeners. That's what's on my mind. Let it be called that Dr. Clark was almost Nostradamus-like in many of his comments over the years. Let it be reminded to the country where we stand now today, thanks to foresight and understanding that in some would seem almost common sense, but I think oftentimes we need to be reminded of them. So let's not make a good crisis go to waste this time.
Guys, please stop and share. Please repost the live.
Well, there you have it. I wish I could play that 10 times because I think I couldn't have done it any better. The point being made here, Jamaicans, is that simply we are not in a position to spend what we don't have. I want you to understand that even as the PNP goes to the Jamaican people today in their press conference to talk about shortfalls and areas of weaknesses, the World Bank says that the Jamaica's response is world leading. Argument done. It's world leading. So whatever the PNP is going to be coming with today, remember that. Can we find the World Bank? This is what you need to listen to. Don't listen to the comrades. Listen to Siobhan Campbell. Nigel Clark brought this about through fiscal responsibility. When Mr. Golding was saying, no, spend the money. It's long time. When the government suspended the fiscal rule during COVID, Mr. Golding wrote an article saying no. But then Mr. Golding flipped on that and said, we don't have to meet the debt to GDP target. What if the government had not pursued fiscal responsibility? Where would we be today? Huh? And that is what you need to bear in mind.
The readiness and
Go ahead with it. We're not getting it? Or we don't have that. That is what you need to bear in mind. The importance of fiscal responsibility. And the argument is that Jamaica's debt to GDP is to be increased. Why? Because the government may have to borrow. On a debt that is over $2 trillion. The detractors are correct that the debt has not been significantly reduced. That is true. What the government has done is improve the debt to GDP. The GDP, gross domestic product, is the value of the economy. In 2016, Jamaica owed more debt than the total value of the economy. When you sell off everything in Jamaica, you still had to find about 25% more to pay off the debt. When you are in a situation like that, then you are a slave. You're a slave to your lenders, because it means that all your assets and all the services that you are producing in your country is not sufficient to pay your debt. What the government has pursued is an expansion of the economy, not to pay down the debt necessarily, because that's not what the problem is. The problem is ability to pay. It's a fundamental lesson that I want the neighborites to understand. Now, if the country moves up back to 115%, we're not going to be in a good position, because it means that the total value of the economy is less than the debt. And you don't want your assets to be less than your debt. That's when you're really in problems. And where has the government moved the debt to GDP to? It was targeted to be 60%, which means that the debt that Jamaica owes is 60% of the total value of the economy. So then we could pay off the debt at any time and have 40% left. That is what you need to understand. That the country could pay off its debt and it's not bankrupt. But if you listen to the argument on the other side, you get the impression that somehow we are awash with cash. And that's not true. So when you hear government speaking about being fiscally responsible, that is what they're speaking about. Because you don't know when you're going to be dealing with a crisis. And the fact of the matter is, we do not wish this for Jamaica. But we could get another hurricane next year. And it could land now in Clarendon, or Manchester, or Kingston, or Portland. What would happen? Right now, the government is managing a very difficult crisis. And the choices before it are not easy. How do you maintain your macroeconomic stability whilst at the same time providing relief for the people affected? And this is why it has to be a delicate balance. Every cent must be accounted for and used wisely, because we don't have it. And then you have people criticizing the Prime Minister for going to the G20, a poor country. Gets an opportunity to go among the world, the 20 leading economies of the world. And you are saying that the Prime Minister mustn't go? And on one hand, you asking for more money. And you are saying that the country's debt to GDP is going to go to 115%. What is it? What is it that you want? Because if the debt goes to 115%, it means that the total output of the economy cannot cover the debt. It puts us back in this vicious cycle that we have spent the last 10 years trying to get out of. It's a difficult position that the government is in. I mean, Jamaicans have worked hard, you know. They have borne many sacrifices. From wage freezes, to high taxes, to driving on bad roads, to inflation eating out the value of our salary. These are sacrifices that the country has collectively made. And just when we got to the point where we are seeing some, slackening of this, still very high debt, over $2 trillion. But growing the GDP, putting the economy in a position to be able to pay off the debt. We are hit by a hurricane that is going to push up back the debt. You can't have it both ways. Right? You can't be asking for more money and then you are criticizing the fact that the debt is going to go up. Where is the money to come from? You know, I did some work on this morning. I promised you that I would have done it, and I did it. Right? Because when a country's debt to GDP, and I don't want you to confuse the debt itself to the debt to GDP. These are two different things. Right? By the way, the Jamaican dollar is coming under a little bit of pressure. Right? 62% of the debt is in US dollars. 62%. If the dollar loses its value by 1%, it adds $14 billion to the debt. Right? And $600 million in interest. That's the NIR. So when you hear people talking about dipping into NIR, that is another subject altogether. And you know, you may wonder, I don't want to cause you to become scared, but Jamaica is in a precarious position, you know. You remember this, that I'm telling you. When you hear the PNP today asking for more. Remember, can the country afford to do it? When you hear Dayton Campbell saying $10 million is not sufficient, where is the money to come from? Because the aid is not cash. The aid that the government gets is not cash, you know. Countries support countries that go through disaster with technical assistance. Sometimes when you hear that a country is giving aid, it's people they send, you know, to help you. Equipment. Sometimes they send in doctors who they pay. And it comes as an aid package. Trucks and hospital supplies. Emergency supplies. That's aid. All of those Chinook helicopters that you see take off from Kingston into the west. You know they have to burn fuel? Who you think pay for that? And so when a country's debt to GDP exceeds 100%, it means that the debt is larger than the country's economy. The value of the total economy is less. What Jamaicans ought to be proud about today is that our economy before Melissa is larger than the debt. The debt is about 60% of the economy. So we are 40% larger than the total debt Jamaica owes. And Jamaica owes more than $2 trillion in debt. One of these days, we will tell you how we end up with that $2 trillion debt. Caroline?
Yes, neighbor.
So here we're giving ourselves homework. We're going to tell the neighbor rights how we arrived at that $2 trillion there, because I think the people of Jamaica should know how we get to there. How is it that Jamaica ended up with that debt? Which government added and how much they added? Stay tuned for that. And you see these people that are talking, they should be quiet. But you see, the problem is that many Jamaicans do not even understand. They don't take the time to learn. They don't read. They just listen to foolishness. You have to put everything in context, people. When you hear them on the front line talking about they want more money and they want more money, and when the government goes into parliament and you hear the prime minister saying they have to manage the debt, what does he mean by that? Because I'm telling you that if the government does more or do more, you and I have to pay for it. And what we must collectively be asking ourselves is, should we put ourselves in this type of debt? As a matter of fact, I don't think the government should just be borrowing money on our behalf, so without our having anything to say about it, and that we have to pay it back. They just borrow money, and then the taxpayers of Jamaica are burdened with it. And we must ask ourselves, what them use them the $2 trillion do? What party do? What it do? So when your debt to GDP goes over 100%, it means that your economy is smaller than your debt, your assets. And when the debt to GDP goes over 100%, the government faces significant challenges. Firstly, it has to borrow more because the economy is not producing enough to give it the leverage to pay the debt and have little change left. And when your debt to GDP goes over 100%, your credit rating falls. So the rating agencies like Fitch, like Moody's, they look at these things and they say you are high risk. No different than when you go to the bank to take out a loan. The bank look at your asset. They ask you to take in your pay slip. Why you think they ask you to take in your pay slip? And they do a credit score on you, ask if you have a house, if you have other debts with other institutions, and they run a credit check. When you get a car loan, from the bank runs a credit check on you, If you owe courts, it'll go show up. If you owe the credit union, it'll go show up. If you owe JN and Scotia Bank, it'll go scroll. If you had bad debts over the years that you didn't pay off, if you have a credit card, it show up. And they give you a credit score to look at your ability to repay the debt. It's no different when a country goes to the IMF or to the World Bank or even to the market to borrow money. So you may get loans, or you can get loans when your debt to GDP is over 100%. But you don't get it at 2%. You're not going to get it at 3%. You're going to get it at higher interest rates. When your debt to GDP goes over 100%, the government raises taxes because it has to pull in money from the economy to help it pay for its debt. Not the debt only, but to do everything else. So it has to generate revenue. And one of the reasons why the government over the last 10 years have not raised any taxes is because they are growing the GDP. 10 years of no new taxes. Why? Because the government is earning money from the economy. The economy is producing. And when you create 250,000 jobs, there is a multiplier effect on the economy, you know. It's not only that you create 250,000 jobs. These 250,000 people start buy shoes. So the man who makes shoes starts sell more shoes. The 250,000 people buy patty. So the man will make patty, him start make more patty. The 250,000 people take taxis and bus. So the taxi man, he might go make more money because all of that. So there is what you call a multiplier effect. It stimulates economic activities. The hairdresser, well, she's going to have to ramp up our little business because more girls at work at the call center. So they're going to want them here to be done. Yes, more brassiere are going to sell. Girls are going to wear brassiere. You're going to have more, everything is happening. And these people buy things. So then the government collects GCT from that. They may not pay income tax because of where the threshold is, but there is economic activity. So when the government creates economic activities, it improves government revenues. So government don't have to tax people because taxes are a disincentive to economic growth. Because when you have less money to spend, because that money is going directly to the government, then the ordinary man can't create economic activity. That is why some governments cut taxes to create economic activity. There's a spin-off. And that is why in the 90s, every budget, they had to raise taxes because of the precarious state that the economy was in. It was a vicious cycle because the more taxes you take out of the economy, the weaker the economy is. But when you are left with no choice, you have to raise it. In some cases, the government prints money. When you are, because it's one of the choice they're left with, to print the money. But there's a significant risk to that. Because when you have money without the corresponding goods and productive activity, it creates inflation. When your money supply is too high, you have too few goods chasing too much money in the economy. And that is where you get the term mopping up liquidity. Government mops it back up. When you have a lot of money in the economy, then people raise their prices to match the money supply. And then the government may have to sell assets. So you saw that in the past, Air Jamaica, Sugar Company of Jamaica, they liquidate them, sell off its asset to pay debt. No different from you, all right? We find ourselves in debt and we have some asset, we sell it. Some people sell out them TV, sell out them fridge, sell them car, buy a cheaper one. Or the government may implement what is called austerity measures. Austerity means that they cut things from the budget. Try to reduce the deficit and help stabilize the finances. We have difficult choices to make. And this is why I can't understand why someone would criticize the Prime Minister for going to South Africa to try and get help for his country. It's the best thing to do. It's the right thing to do. And the Prime Minister has come back to say that Jamaica is going to, stage a phenomenal, he said, phenomenal recovery. What's there to criticize? What's there to call a press conference about? Why not recognize the difficulties we are in and put the politics aside? No. Because the next election is on your mind. It has nothing to do with Melissa. It has nothing to do with the people. It all is about the next election. And I want my listeners to understand that. There's no patriotism here. This PNPism. And as I have told you in the past, the PNP had a slogan that said they put people first. They have never put the people of Jamaica first. Never put the people of Jamaica first. And comrades, at a time like this, when Jamaica should be first, you are choosing to play politics. Shame on you. And so in times of turmoil, when shadows loom, a leader rises with a heart that blooms. Did you see the Prime Minister at the airport last night? By the way, let me take the time to remind you, we are bang over 10 o'clock, 7 minutes after. If you are in Jamaica, 876-858-9553. 876-858-9553. And if you're in the United States, the Cash App and Zelle account is coming up on your screen. Pitch in and help us to go until 11. there ever been a time when you have chosen Jamaica? Have you chosen Jamaica? Prime Minister with steadfast gaze steps forth to plead in a global haze. It's hazy, Jamaicans. And I call upon you. Wholeness is not a perfect man. I call upon Jamaicans. Stand with him. Stand with Wholeness in this rebuilding effort. He's the Prime Minister. Stand with him. Your brothers and sisters need it. Your country needs it. I call upon you to do so. To reject the partisan politics of the PNP. And to stand. I am not telling you what your election, what you are to do come next election. We are 4 years away. This moment calls for us to take off the orange shirt and the green shirt too. The people of St. Elizabeth don't want no politics. The people of Westmoreland don't want no politics. The people of Trelawney don't want no politics. What they want is to get their lives back together, and politics is not going to put it back. You can't be asking for more money and you're criticizing the Prime Minister for going to the G7, G20, go beg. And that's what the Prime Minister was there doing, asking for help for St. Elizabeth, for Westmoreland, for Trelawney, for Jamaica, so that we don't have to borrow and put our country in debt. And so he leaves the shores of our island home to seek aid for the people who calls him their own. Yes, their own. Because from Spanish Town, turn around. One of us jumped on a plane, flew all the way to South Africa, and he's back on the island to continue the work of restoring people's lives. You must be thankful, you know. You must be thankful, man. I'm not singing anyone's praises. I'm telling you what are facts. Show gratitude and appreciation. The G20, he makes his way to make a case for a brighter day for you. How you getting those packages? Are you waiting for the aid? You're waiting for your check, not true? You're waiting for your board and your ply and your zinc and all of that. You're waiting for it to build back your house. How are you going to get it? Passion and fire, he speaks from his heart. A leader who will not falter nor depart. He advocates for the vulnerable and the weak. A champion of the people's cause. That's what Wholeness seeks. Thank you, my comrade. My God, I have been able to convert a comrade. Oh, what a day. I have been able to convert a comrade. No, sir. Thank you. At least, comrade, you say, a true your thought neighbor. Huh? Criticisms are raining down like rain, like a relentless storm. But the man stands firm in his resolve to transform it. For he knows that in times of need, a leader's voice is the people's creed. You hear that, comrade? My little wash belly, not wash belly, wishy-washy. That man that have that little wishy-washy show. In time of need, you need a leader's voice. A leader's voice to stand up for his people. Leaders step forward in times of need and they speak on behalf of their people. Because it's a fight for the future of the youth, those young children in Westmoreland, those yet unborn, those children in St. Elizabeth that are 3 years old. Their future is at stake. Over in Trelawney in Hanover, they must get back to school. Their education is paramount, it is important. It's a fight for their future. The trip to South Africa is a fight for their future. What are you talking about? It's not a vacation, it's not a plane ride. It's to restore hope. It's a trip of hope. I am sure that as Wholeness flies across the oceans, his mind is not on the thrill of this trip, but on what can I do? What can I take back to my country? So that that child in Westmoreland can get back to school. So that the pregnant mother who gave birth last week and don't have a roof over her head can be happy for Christmas. You over there criticizing? Do you understand the plight of the people and how a leader straps his nation on his back and head down to South Africa? It's not for praise, not for personal gain. For Wholeness don't need to fly to South Africa to put food on his table. Wholeness don't need to fly to South Africa to build himself a house. Wholeness don't need to fly to South Africa to send his children to school. He does it in the capacity of Prime Minister of Jamaica, and he ought to. And rather than saluting a leader who stands tall, though he represents, the Canadian Prime Minister, if I could find that. I think Jamaica may be the smallest country there, but all of those world leaders wanted to do I have it?
U.S. Donald Trump's decision.
They asked the Canadian Prime Minister a question, and listen to his response. This is Canada.
Damage to multilateralism as a concept?
Look, I think that the decision of when you include guests that were invited by the chair, series of countries, including, for example, Jamaica, in our.
You hear that? That's Mike Carney. He was asked about Donald Trump absence from the G20 summit. And in his answer, he says, well, you know, yeah, Trump didn't show, but we invited Jamaica and Jamaica showed up. Listen again.
Donald Trump's decision to completely boycott this summit is doing any damage to multilateralism as a concept?
Look, I think that the decision of when you include guests that were invited by the chair, series of countries, including, for example, Jamaica, in our hemisphere, Finland, for other.
There you go. Who would have thought that you ask a man about the United States not attending, and the man say, well, Jamaica came. I tell you the truth, it's boy, I tell you. You're a Jamaican this morning, you should be very proud of your country. They asked the Canadian Prime Minister about the United States president not attending the conference. And the Canadian president said, oh, well, yeah, but we invited Jamaica and Jamaica come. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Jamaica is a big deal. The Canadian Prime Minister is asked in a press conference about the United States president not attending the G20. The Canadian Prime Minister said, well, yeah, he didn't come, but we invited Jamaica, and Jamaica is here. Amazing stuff. Jamaica is a big deal. I tell you this, of all the countries at the G20, the man whose hand they all wanted to shake was Andrew Holness. Why? Of all the countries at the G20, the man whose hand they all wanted to shake, and every leader of the G20 wanted to meet Holness. You think it's because he's a handsome man? Huh? It's because Jamaica is a big deal. You hear me? Jamaica is a big deal. I never said meal deal, not meal deal. Big deal. Jamaica is a big deal. Right? And so when you hear these people talking, you need to arm yourself with the facts so that you can let me play it again. Let me play it again because I want you to hear it.
Do you think the U.S., Donald Trump's decision to completely boycott this summit is doing any damage to multilateralism as a concept?
Look, I think that the decision of when you include guests that were invited by the chair, series of countries, including, for example, Jamaica.
There you go. Guests that were invited, including Jamaica. We were present. Now you little wishy-washy talk show man that is talking about Holness shouldn't have attended. Listen to that. Listen to that. The World Bank says that Jamaica is world leading. And Prime Minister Carney of Canada said, Jamaica showed. US not there, but Jamaica showed. And that to them meant a lot. That to the G20 world, 85% of the world economy is controlled by the G20 nations. 85% of the world's wealth. Only 15% of the wealth of the world is divided up between every other nation in the world. And they recognize the importance of little Jamaica sitting at the table with the 20 biggest boys in the world. And when they asked about the United States, which is the world's largest economy, 3 times that of Russia, almost twice that of China, they said, well, they didn't come, but Jamaica came. And you're going to tell me that we shouldn't have gone? We're a big deal. We are big deal in the world. Big deal. By the way,
yeah, we're kind of important. Okay. For real. Oh yeah, I'm a big deal.
We're kind of important for real. We're kind of important.
Hold on.
And in case you missed it, the Prime Minister came back home boasting that Jamaica is going to launch the most phenomenal recovery ever. You think he put a sit down at Jamaica and do that? Wishy-washy boy? Wishy-washy boy. You think he could have sit down at Jamaica and do that? Talk about Zoom? You think the Prime Minister could sit down in Jamaica and launch the most phenomenal recovery? You don't understand that this is about people's future. Wishy-washy. Wishy-washy, you don't know that. It's a fight for the future of Jamaica, whose debt to GDP came down from 125% to below 60%. But we'll have to go back up. And the Bank of Jamaica is saying that by 2027, inflation again will be stable in Jamaica. Applaud the efforts of the government. You hear? Don't be biased. It's a commendable display of courageous leadership. You hear that wishy-washy boy? A courageous display of leadership. And it is inspirational. And Jamaicans should be inspired to strive for greatness. Down, but not out. And I want to say to all of you folks in these flood-ravaged areas, you're down, you're not out. When the container houses start to roll in, the infrastructure start to put back together. Commerce, because there are fantastic opportunities available. I can get into that next. In the face of adversity and strife, Wholeness has demonstrated that there can be a better life. We did not cause the storm, but we determine our response. We determine our response. There's hope in Jamaica today. There's hope for a brighter day. in a world that is gray, we can have courage. We can stand tall. I'm coming right back. Let's go to the PNP's press conference. Let's hear
the government should
from
immediately take on
Dayton Campbell
to ensure that we can give the lands to these persons and that they can, some of them can build their own structures that can withstand hurricane, and the government as well should look at low income solutions on government lands for these persons. The aim is not to have boardhouses being rebuilt, because that's an invitation for a second disaster. This was with us a few days ago, and he stated that the videos and the pictures don't do justice, and that it is total devastation, and it's going to take a long time to rebuild the infrastructure. He said they will have to be creative, and he has proposed that we need to get a generator in Darliston and one in White House so that we can at least power the police station, the health centers, and those things. A lot of persons are not cognizant of what is going on out in the western end of the country. Eastern Westmoreland is not what it used to be. The lives of the residents has been severely affected, and it will take a long time for them to return to normalcy. I know people are in a haste to move on, but in your haste to move on, do not forget that you have brothers and sisters that are on the fringes of survival. They are suffering and they need assistance urgently. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Campbell. We're here now from the Member of Parliament for Central Westmoreland, MP Dwayne Vaz.
All right, Mr. Vaz from Central Westmoreland, covering the PNP's press conference.
Good morning, everyone. I want to say a special good morning to my constituents of Central Westmoreland. Constituency. And our constituency is the largest when it comes down to registered voters. It's over 52,000, which actually means we should have over 80,000 people living in the constituency. So we know it's a huge constituency, and assisting 100 people from the government grant is simply inadequate, as you will recognize. The reason we got so much damage in Hurricane Melissa with regards to our housing stock is the same land tenure issue. So because most people don't own the land, they tend to build temporary structures that can be moved if necessary. So most persons are afraid of building permanent structures because if the owner comes for the land, then they will have to leave. A lot of this land is government land, as was.
I'm breaking into this to tell you that this $10 million that the government gave was a start. All right, the opposition MPs are not responsible for the recovery, and they keep making this false claim that the MPs are responsible, and they are not. All right,
said by Dr. Campbell just now, and the government has to use this opportunity to create an environment where people can actually own that piece of land, where they can build permanent structures. We think about 10,000 persons or more were affected by Hurricane Melissa. And When I say effects, I mean total destruction plus damage to roofs, major damage I'm talking about. And as I said, this is because of the type of housing that we have in our constituency. And this is something we have to fix in the short and medium term as we move forward. The immediate needs of the constituency as we speak, we have been getting another assistance with regards to food, water, tarpaulins and stuff like that. But the need has really shifted to housing material, because every community we visit now to hand out food packages, people are asking the same question. When will the housing material grants start? When will people start seeing people getting material to fix their structures? So the need that we have now, which I think is the most immediate and short-term need now, is actually to get the materials in so persons can start rebuilding. Some persons have started on their own, family, friends, assisting, communities helping each other, but a lot of people are still there looking at each other, not knowing which angle to turn, not knowing where to do, because they really can't afford to start. And these are the people we have to look for. And I know the assessment is going on now, but there are thousands of residents who are just there wondering where the help will come from. And as I said, the government must step in here, because it will take the efforts of the government in a significant way for us to get people back on track to the lives they were living before Hurricane Melissa. We also have a road crisis, and I must add the bridge crisis to it. There's a particular bridge in the Frome area where the road was cut away, and that has compromised the bridge. It's a main road going from Savlamar to Granger, and we have to look into that immediately. Most of the roads were bad before Hurricane Melissa, but they have gotten worse. And it is causing a lot of traffic pile up in some areas because the road is so bad. So we actually need the representatives from the government also to ensure that things are put in place so we can start some immediate works on these particular areas that we have so many issues. We speak also of the shelters that we have now. We still have a few shelters open, and the issue, as was stated by Dr. Campbell, is that leaving the shelters, they really have nowhere to go. So the government needs to put something in place where people know leave the shelters. They might have to set up temporary structures for them in the meantime, but something must be done, because people cannot leave the shelters without knowing where they're going. They would not be there if they had somewhere else to go. So it's a serious issue that we're facing as we speak. The distribution that we're seeing so far, and I spoke of it in Parliament a couple of weeks ago when helicopter went down in Landale, and the members of the government in the area were called on to come because they were on spot before everybody else. I spoke of it, the Prime Minister dismissed what I said, but what I said was repeated twice since he spoke. And the most recent occurrence was this week, when at an activist, a known JLP activist premises, that was where the distribution was done. And we have to look at how we're doing these things. I don't know who came up with that idea, who thought this would look like a good idea to have the food packages being distributed from that location, but it was obviously a terrible idea. And we're saying that if you're going to be distributing any package at all, there is a representative in the constituencies that you should contact and should assist with the coordination of these things. Whenever we are going out to do distribution, everybody we see in the communities, we give packages. We're not looking at who is PNP or JLP or NOP. We're in a crisis situation, and the government needs to act in that way. I get the feeling that the government still does not realize that we are in a crisis. But the crisis we're in, we need to understand that people are people. We're Jamaicans, and we must treat people as Jamaicans. The gaps, before I close, between what is needed and what we have gotten. I stated earlier that we have mostly gotten packages with food, water, stuff like that, from most of the private donors. The only assistance we have gotten from the government was the $3 million that was mentioned by Dr. Campbell earlier. Every other assistance with regards to food, packages, and water have come from private donors. We have to thank all of these persons who have been coming out. There have been major organizations, like, for example, GEM that was mentioned earlier, but there have been numerous private individuals who have come into the parish. Some of them are from the parish, some are not, but they have lent a helping hand. and the residents of the constituency have been truly appreciative of what has been done so far. So just in closing, I just want to say Central Westmoreland needs the assistance. I know Dr. Campbell said he was the worst hit, but I would beg to differ because Central was equally hit, I think. And if you look at the stretch coming down from White House, after leaving Eastern Westmoreland and Bluefields, the entire stretch coming to Ferris looks the same way. If you turn going to Montego Bay, the entire waterworks stretch looks the same way as White House and Belmont. So it was total devastation in the constituency. And as I said,
all that he has gotten from the government, private donors. Mr. Vaz is saying that the government hasn't done much for Central Westmoreland. Well, we're making a note of all of these, okay? We have to respond to it.
It is the largest constituency when it comes down to the amount of people, which means that we need special attention, and asking everybody who is listening to this press conference that we need as much attention as we can possibly get. So I'm going to say to the residents of the constituency, to hold firm. We will do whatever we can to assist the process, and you can rest assured that your member of parliament will do anything possible to get back on track to where it was before Hurricane Melissa. I thank you.
So the government doesn't realize that we're in a crisis. Really? The PNP is saying that the government don't realize we are in a crisis. It's laughable, really. Let's see who is next.
Thank you. Hear from the Member of Parliament from Western Westmoreland about the devastation in his constituency and the poor response from the government. MPE.
Ian Hales is now coming to talk about poor response from the government. This is amazing stuff.
Ian Hales.
Thank you, Leader of the Opposition, fellow colleague, members of Parliament. Good morning. I want to first start off by thanking the charitable organizations that have come on board and have played a role in this hurricane. They have done more than the government. And I'm ashamed to say that
the charitable organization have done more than the government. Huh? You think we should really carry this?
I represent a constituency in Westmoreland that more than the government of the land. 1 month, it's almost a month, I think today is a month that we went through the hurricane. 4 weeks from now, it is Christmas. I have over 1,000 homes that have been lost, gone. Since that the Hurricane Melissa have affected. And I ask myself the question every day as a member of Parliament, and I know my colleagues do also, when we get up in the morning. How you going to help all of these 6 to 7, 10,000 Jamaicans that have been affected? And in terms of the assessment, last week I spoke to an individual, I spoke to the manager, and I asked a question. I said, are there any assessment that is taking place in Western Westmoreland? And the answer is yes, they went to 2 areas. And I said, tell me the 2 areas that you went to. And he listed the 2 areas. And those 2 areas were not the 2 areas that were basically the areas that were damaged beyond recognition. And I see where the assessment now that is taking place in communities that basically supported the Jamaica Labour Party. All I'm saying is we can't do things so ad hoc. We are all in this together, both PNP, JLP, NOMP, we are in this together as a country. And, you know, the assessment The assessment leaves a lot of questions. It is said that you have that are volunteering to do the assessment across the constituencies that are there. I've asked the question, who are these volunteers? What are the criteria / requirement for each volunteer? So that even if we can put some individuals, civil society, church, and individuals, put them forward so that they can help in terms of speeding up the assessment. Look, I just think if we don't put back some of these Jamaicans, even give them a roof over their head between now and Christmas, we're going to face some headwinds in this country that we have never faced before. And why do I say that? To every home you go to in the country, there's a level of frustration that I've never seen before. People have lost everything. And the frustration is, when are we going to get some help? You can't look at me as a member of parliament and say, you know what? Pick 100 of your citizens. And when you pick the 100 citizens, what about the rest? That going to turn against me as member of parliament. What about those individuals? Because they need help too. How do you go ahead and pick the 100 to give 100,000? For me, I'm doing mine a little different. I'm giving each church one individual within that community that has been severely affected. I don't look at this thing as political PNP, JLP. So the church is going to get involved along with myself in terms of ensuring that we can pick 100 of our citizens. But picking 100 from 9 or 8,000 that have been affected, it's very difficult. You know, in terms of distribution, I've gone through the last couple of weeks disappointed as a Jamaican and as a representative of the people. You see ministers of government come in. You see ministers of government come in, you see government entity comes in. And they go to a particular area that you don't have damage in some of those areas that they go to give out, to distribute food to our citizens. All I'm saying is, look, we have to do better as a country. We have to do better as a government. It can't continue. It can't continue the way it has been going. People in their in my constituency, I don't know, since the hurricane, we've been getting a lot of rain. And most of our citizens are without a roof, without tarpaulin, just basically fending on their own. Can't help themselves, can't do nothing. The packages that are going around being distributed. People have gone out, they get one food package, I would say probably around 3-4 weeks ago, and they haven't gotten any more help from the government. So there's no assessment. Food package is only 600 per MP. Thank God for the charity organization. But look, I just want to appeal to the government. Come on board with the elected officials. The elections are over. And this crisis allows you to think as a human and not as wear a hat as a political representative. It is that hard. There's a level of hardship that is in Western Jamaica. And I just want to say, look, make we ensure that over the next 4 weeks, we can ensure that we put as much Jamaicans back in their home with their roofs. We have to do that as a country. It can't continue, sir. Make we ensure we help some of these individuals. Make we get.
little bit of the PNP's press misinformation.
Good morning,
there.
leader of opposition,
We
media.
took a little bit. John? Hello?
Yes, neighbor. Good morning.
John, you are alarmed at what you are hearing there.
Most definitely, neighbor. I have to ask myself the question. How is it that Ian Hills really live with himself as a human? This man is coming. The Spirit of God is not with this man. Can a human being get up and just choose to tell lie every day? For no reason. He has gotten what he was desire to become member of parliament in Westmoreland. The people have voted for him. So why is it that he's still lying? Neighbor, let me tell you something, neighbor. Let me take off my cap. The PNP wrote to the government. And said to the government, you need to set up a task force, which we want to be a part of, to provide oversight, right, of how the aid will reach the Jamaican people who are affected. The Prime Minister, with his cabinet, willingly say, yes, we will accommodate you. Was to put together. The PNP hopped out. And this is the reason why the PNP out of the task force. Because they want to politicize everything that the government is doing. The PNP have controlled Westmoreland for how many years since our independent neighbor?
Yes.
And you have to tell me when PJ Patterson was there as member of parliament and prime minister, when Roger Clark was there as agriculture minister, senior minister of the party, when Carl Blight was there, a former deputy leader of the party, them never know that Westmoreland need land reform and that majority of the people are living on squatters' land, or where their houses be located inadequate for people to live there. And now that they want this government to wave a magic wand and fix everything all at once, where will the risk? That's the question. So if government to take the prime land now and give it to these people, will these people know that they have a civic duty to pay their property taxes so their garbage can be properly collected and that they can have street light and all of these things? These people in Westmoreland, neighbor, and the government is obligated to take care of their daily needs. Sir, can you please close the mic? Thank you. Go in. Yeah, thank you. So I do not understand what Ian Hills and Dwayne Vaz is really saying. So if you were a part of the task force, you could say whenever time the task force meet that listen, this community have not yet been reached, and so we need to see how best we can get some aid into this community and etc. 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 I don't understand. I just don't understand these people.
Yes, neighbor.
Sir, can you please mute your mic?
All right.
TT, thank you so much for these roses. TT. Oh, Lord, TT, you're killing me with roses today, man. Hey, TT. TT, thank you, TT. Oh, thank you. Go ahead, John.
Yes, neighbor. So I am saying that Mr. Vaz and Mr. Hills came out and they are just talking rubbish, crap, because up to now, neighbor, they do not specify one community out of the 2 constituencies that has not yet been reached. Up to now, you know, they just come and broad brush everything.
Yes, and that the private people are doing more than the government, sir.
My neighbor, I don't understand. All of these aid that the government is receiving from international donors, what the government is doing with it. And the very same people the government are distributed to. These people are heartless, neighbor. They are heartless, and what they are trying to do, neighbor, they are trying to create anarchy in this country.
You think so?
These people don't want the rule of law to prevail because doing Vaz and Mr. Hayes right now, just riling up the people to create anarchy in the society, neighbor.
Well, the politics turn up, sir. Definitely.
Yes, neighbor.
I wanted to play something from the minister. Lindell, hold on there, John. Stay with me. Hello?
Before the hurricane, that the Minister of Labor and Social Security had.
Go ahead, sir. Hello, Dwayne, Lindell, open your mic now, sir. TT, thank you so much.
Their pre-positioned food across the country because we were not sure what it would do once that system up north.
TT? Thank you. Dwayne? Lindell?
Yes, neighbor.
Good morning to you.
Yes, sir. Well, evening now. I'm at England. I'm in England.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, I tune in for your thing, you know.
For my thing?
Yeah, man, I tune in for your station, man. You see me? So.
Yes,
yeah.
for the program.
Yeah, for your program, you know.
For the program, yes. You know, we are Jamaican.
Yeah.
We have to talk straight.
That's true.
Yes. Now, my
yes.
thing, no man can tune in for my thing, you know.
I know you're straight, you know.
There you go, sir.
Like a arrow.
Like an arrow, brother. So in a
Yeah.
lead. In a lead.
You know? Yeah, so but did that I listened to the press conference where the PMP have.
By the way, I should tell my listeners that I have to go back and listen to it by myself, you know, because since as they don't want to listen to it with me, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it because I must go there and find out what was said, you know.
Yeah, but them playing politics.
Yes.
Them playing politics.
Yes.
You know, because them saying the government not doing anything, which is them chatting rubbish.
Yes.
You know, so me would have liked to know all of them care package where the JCF giving out if it's not from the government. No, them private, them care package from like entertainers. Give it
brother,
JDF.
no private organization can match the government. Exactly. None. All of these airplanes that you see flying into the country is government, you know.
Yeah. Exactly.
First of all, government have to permit them to land. Government gives them waiver. All of that.
Yeah. And the next thing again, them talking about government land. If the government see where the country can make money, yeah, to make the people them happy, them are go for them land.
Boy, there's a girl here named TT. I wish she killed me with roses. TT, boy, I tell you, I'm gonna have to buy TT a drink, man. TT, thank you. Send us 2 million euros, TT.
Yes.
Yes, Dwayne, go ahead.
Yes, so the government have to get back them land to actually to build infrastructure. Because enough of them not paying a tax. And if you're not paying a tax in a country, then you have a problem.
Yes.
You understand? Because I'm in England and you have to pay for everything.
Yes.
Every single thing you have to pay for. There's nothing free in Britain. When it come on to, even to take up your bin, even to take the bin up, you have to pay for get your bin removed. You understand? So some Jamaican, them just love freeness, them just love hands out, them need to get up and brush off themselves and know, say, yes, this is me, make me do what I'm supposed to do. You can't sit down and depend on government to do things. You understand? And I see enough Jamaican, them not abide by the rules in them country, but them come out other country and them have to abide by the rules. So I don't know what is the problem with Jamaicans. You know?
Yes, sir. There is something to be said about responsibility, because even in this case, anytime you talk about people getting up to help themselves, people criticize you, say you are said government mustn't do anything for them. But the thing is that so it has to be a partnership, eh?
Yeah. Them need to get up. Get up off of them big backside and do what them have to do. I see one brother in St. Elizabeth. I see a vlogger got the you know, I show him place, I show the vlogger in place, and him say, oh, I just say him sleep. The rubbish in the place, seeing where the rubbish in the house, big house with concrete roof and everything. And the man I show one room when sleeping with the rubbish in the house, seeing where for the man get up and clean out in place and go look some paint out in place and get back himself together. The man sit down and government to come to clean out his own house when living in it. So me I wonder if I traumatize them, or what. But because that's not Jamaican.
But you know the challenge here is that you have the government that is trying to be realistic, fiscally responsible, and you have the opposition saying money let's give the people money to spend, give them money make we spend. I mean, that's what is happening here, and the case has been made that the government is not sympathetic to the cause of the people, sir.
Yeah. But the government need to highlight more things. Although not for the flaggers them just run with certain things. Because even like in a terror spot, like them vloggers, them are run with what they want to run with. You understand? Them not sure. So me also you tell them, because you know me in a barbershop, because I run a barbershop. I run my own shop here.
All right,
nice. You know? And then we come in and we have a conversation and it's like, you know, them are show you where the vloggers them. But me say, if you want to know, go on the government website and you will see what go on. Check out the councillor them. Check out the councillor them and check out the MP them, and you will see what the MP them doing, because the MP actually post what them doing. You understand? So if you want to know facts, go and go check out them page and you will see what them doing.
Lorna Benny, thank you so much. And TT, hi TT. Want to meet your TT, send me a request. Yes, sir, you're right, man.
Yeah, them need to get up, man. Them need to get up. Them need to get up and stop depend on the government and stop bring down the government. That's what them doing. Try to bring down the government. But the man stronger than them. And them see that. The man firm, like the man solid as a rock.
Yes. It's a big deal, sir.
The man solid as a rock. The man not even look on them. You understand? And them go around telling the man about him mother and him wife and them something there. Listen, when PJ did in a power, them couldn't try that. When Portia Simpson, them couldn't try that. Because them would have get take away. Them would have take them away. All of them were here, I come and say, I tell the Prime Minister about them. Them would have get take away long time.
Take away? Would have take them away?
Them couldn't try that with PJ. Them could have tried that with PJ. PJ would have take them away. I swear.
Take them away, sir?
Yeah. PJ would have get rid of them. I swear.
Well, I don't know about that, but it's something that we look at, you know. Anyway, I have to move on, sir.
Yeah, man. Bless up yourself, neighbor.
Bless up yourself. All right. So listeners, we are way past 11 o'clock. Well, not way, we are 10 minutes after 11 o'clock. And we are going to try and see if we can push on a little more. There's lots to cover. I have to get back to the press conference. But we need to work on the donations this morning. Jamaica, 876-858-9553. If you are in the United States, so we have such great support over in the United States. The Zelle account is coming up on your screen. Look at it. Send what you have and let us see if we can cover today. Want to get back to a couple of our callers before we check out. Yes, do you want to come up? Yep, we got some time for you. Let's go. Good morning, Pablo. Hey, Pablo, morning. Donovan, you can't speak. Hey. Good morning, sir. Morning, Donovan Hutchinson. Morning. No, he's not there.
That were in every single parish. In addition to that, each parish office under the MLSS
All right, go with the minister.
Had activated their line of credit for $2 million each for the.
All right, listen to this. Listen to this.
Bubble, what haven't we seen in the photo apps? With people living and sleeping in these bags.
Security had pre-positioned supplies across the country. So we had supplies that were in every single parish. In addition to that, each parish office under the MLSS had activated their line of credit for $2 million each for the purchase of food. So
each parish, Mr. Vaz said the government not doing nothing. Each parish had a line of credit of $2 million. That's before the hurricane hit. Each parish could buy $2 million worth of food.
So we had pre-positioned supplies across the country. In terms of the NWA also.
So this idea that the government hasn't done anything, $2 million before the parliament convened and the government gave the MPs their money. There was a $2 million line of credit that they could use to buy food.
The NWA had reached out to all of our developers and asked, are you willing to give your equipment to the rapid clearing of roads after the hurricane. So that was preemptively done. And several of them had actually indicated that they would do so. And so as soon as the hurricane passed, we took them up on their offer and we started to deploy them across the affected areas. And remember, and you were correct in the statement that the hurricane kind of almost stalked us for a long time and it kept shifting its position. And I remembered as we were praying and it was going west, we were praying that it would continue to go west and not come to Jamaica. Remember in the beginning, we were talking about Port Royal, we were talking about Kingston being affected, we were talking about Portmore, and then it kept shifting to the west. So the trajectory kept shifting, but the Ministry of Labor kept their prepositioned food across the country because we were not sure what it would do once that system up north had moved. We weren't sure what was going to happen. And so we did preposition food across the country. And there was a question about a multi-sectoral committee that kept coming up, and I'll come back to that. The 5,000 modular homes, can they access the other portion of funds from NHT? NHT has indicated that.
Correct. Now that is why the World Bank made that comment about world leading $2 million worth of food in every parish. So in addition to what the MPs are now getting, there was a credit line for food from the Ministry of Labor of $2 million. All right?
They should be able to do so. In terms of land tenure as a concern, and that's a big concern in parts of Westmoreland, that's very, very important. And I see on the screen, I think it may be. I think it's to show the Prime Minister in Westmoreland 2 days after the hurricane, because I think there was a statement that had been made. It was 20 days that it took for him to go to Westmoreland. So I think this is showing him departing Jamaica House for Westmoreland. Oh, okay, he's clarifying now that it is New Hope that he is speaking of. All right. Continuing with the questions, the land tenure issue.
So we found that and brought it to you that the government did intervene and is assisting. John Major?
Yes, neighbor.
I don't know why. These pieces of information are available. The minister made this presentation in Parliament last week, Friday. You heard anything about it, sir?
But no, neighbor. But neighbor, listen. Ian Ailes and Mr. Dwayne Vaz are member of Parliament. They were present at the sitting of Parliament last week. They are privy to this information, right? They are the member of Parliament for the constituency in Westmoreland. They know that these funds are available. Plus, if I'm correct, I think each member of Parliament get $10 million to start with.
Well, not
and
10.
You are saying
the ones in the worst affected
the worst affected era. Yes, so that's why I'm saying that. Because they are in the worst affected era. 10 million plus $2 million for a line of credit for food stuff, right? And
yes,
they are saying that the government is not doing enough. Plus private donor. Come on. Neighbor, you know how many people here from Portland load up motor vehicle and carry down stuff that Westmoreland will give people?
Yes.
I have personal friends who do that. Even last week, a friend of mine who work with me called me and asked me for a contribution because he's making a third trip down there.
Yes.
And these people are behaving like nobody's assisting the people them. I can't understand these people. And these people just come and they hear and blatantly lie. They have no regard for the people of Jamaica who they represent at the Parliament. Because you cannot be a member of Parliament and so lie, neighbor. When you are a member of Parliament, neighbor, you are a legislator. You make laws.
Yes.
To govern the country, and you see it fit to just lie like that. I can't understand how these people sleep. How these people even reverent themselves in front of God.
Yes, but do you agree though, John, that we also need to put context to all of this and to get people to understand that after such a disaster, things will take a little time, no?
Neighbor, most definitely. Neighbor, if you can remember some years ago, neighbor, I'm a little older than you, right? But I know that you are very knowledgeable. Some years ago, the United States of America have Hurricane Arlene, where Hurricane Mitch, in New Orleans, where Hurricane Mitch devastated that area in America. And months after, neighbor, months, I remember weeks after, bodies still floating in the water in New Orleans.
Wow.
And that is the richest country on planet Earth. The most resourceful country. Right?
So it's no
Jamaica.
When we hear stories, for example, of people dying and families have to make the decision to bury them because the roads are blocked and nothing can come in to fetch the body. No crisis.
No crisis, neighbor, because neighbor, you realize that Mr. Vaz and Mr. Eel could not point out and say this particular road in my constituency is still black. They bring no information to the press conference, neighbor, more than true word. They could not say, okay, then there is this road that lead to etc. is still impassable because of land slippages are falling through. They not provide no information, none whatsoever.
Yes. So I see a journalist on TVJ highlighting a story with a man who died and they buried him in a shallow grave at the back of the yard. No crisis that John. That is something that she said she called the police and the police came, but they couldn't the body is decaying, so they buried it. No problem.
But neighbor, the protocol that must be followed. If such is the case, right, neighbor? And remember the body started to decay. You call the police. It is the police responsibility to also notify the doctor and move to that scene and wait till the doctor come and do his report, and then they give the go-ahead to dispose of the body. That's how it's supposed to be done.
Right. But in terms of the magnitude of the crisis, John, a community is marooned and a person died by virtue of the you don't expect them to keep the body in their house.
No, neighbor, you cannot do that. You cannot do that. That's why I say that you have to make all the efforts now to notify the police.
Yes.
Right? Because the police here are very important, and then the police responsibility now to get to a doctor of that era.
Yes. But in
the police cannot give the go-ahead to dispose of the body without the doctor's report,
Correct. But I'm saying to you, in the middle of a disaster, families will have to make those type of decisions because you are dealing with a deceased whose body is constantly decaying before you every day. You have to get rid of it.
Neighbor, sometime in a case of disaster, as an adult, sometime you have to choose who eat and who go hungry. That's how natural disasters go. Sometimes you have to say, okay, then let the children eat because you as the adult is more resilient and stronger. That's how it goes. That's how natural disasters go, neighbor. Sometimes you can't even drink water to quench your thirst. You have to just drink water to stay alive. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So the point then, John, is that there is this misconception, no doubt, that people are, you know, being led to feel that somehow after the disaster, things will go back to normal immediately. And that's not true. It's going to take some time.
It's going to take some time, neighbor. It's going to take some time. I know that, neighbor, that it's going to take some time, right? Because it's going to take time to restore the electricity. It's going to take time to restore the water connection and all of these things. We know. But at the same time, neighbor, let me tell you something, neighbor. Mr. Vaz, Mr. Ian Hills, and Mr. Dayton Campbell, leading up to the September 3rd election, they know where to go and get all form of donation to get elected to Parliament. Why is it that they can use those very same reach and connection to get some assistance to the people? We want to their donors who support and sponsor their campaign to get elected to Parliament. Why is it that they can't reach out to the very same donors to solicit some funds to assist those people? You are the member of Parliament. You can't depend on government resources alone. So you tell me now, it is more important to reach out to your donor to get elected, but it's not important to reach out back to those very same donors to get some fund to offer some aid to the people.
Let me provide some
that we must ask.
Let me provide some context here to those persons who are concerned. Now, we have a disaster. The roads are blocked. I mean, the police can ride a bike and come. You call the police to say a relative of mine has lost their lives. But the road is cut off. In other words, the undertakers cannot come in. The police rides a bike, they come, they look at the body, they said, okay, we do not suspect any foul play. Which is natural enough, because if your old granny dead in your house, you still have to call the police, you know. Not true, John?
Yes, neighbor. Yeah, you still have to call the police. And once a person die, you have to call the police.
Yeah, so the police comes, they said, well, we don't suspect any foul play, but the road is blocked, can't clear, and the body is there, you know, decaying. John, what you do? You don't have to take that body out of the house, man, and go bury it?
Yes, because remember, you know, most of the
with the 90s still young.
I just don't carry nobody. I just carry him.
Yes, neighbor. So I'm saying, neighbor, that yes, you have to make the decision. As I say, you have to reach out to the relevant people, and then you have to make the decision and get rid
But
of
if they don't come in time, because the rain is still falling, the roads are flooded, the roads are blocked, what are you to do with the body you have in your house?
You have to bury it.
Put ice on it.
Bury it, neighbor.
Huh?
You have to bury it, neighbor.
Yes, no, it is for the authorities now to exhume it afterwards and you know, do whatever pathological reports they want to do and bury it properly. That is just we are in the middle of you know that in disasters, John, people have had mass burials. You have to just dig hole with tractor.
Neighbor. Yes, neighbor. Natural disaster and war. You have to just dig a trench and just push over the bodies in it.
Yes, even in COVID, I see that happening in first world countries where they have
first world country. Yes, neighbor. I remember seeing it taking place in Italy and other places.
Mass burials, yeah. No alarm here. No alarm here at all. We have another caller. Good morning, sir. Hello. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Johnson. Your hand. Johnson, open your mic. Your hand. You're on Neighbor Night Live.
Good. Yeah. Morning, sir. No, he's not there. He's not there at all. We're having another person coming up. Let's see if we
So we have
Errol. We have Errol coming up. It's actually 11:30. We pushing on to 12 o'clock. Hold on, let's I hear Julika Jess at the PNP's press conference. I wonder what she's doing there. So press conference.
All the duly elected representatives whose only intent is to provide help for people who are suffering. We see people who are in need. We don't see JLP and we don't see PNP. We see people who are vulnerable and who are depending on the government to make the right decisions so that their lives can be better. And that's the only objective that we have over here on the People's National Party side. Now, finally, I speak to the issue of infrastructure. The constituency that I represent suffered not just physical loss to the houses or road work was completely destroyed in areas, particularly in Santa Cruz, where it seems as if a bomb was dropped overnight. We have holes in the roadways which were over 20 feet deep.
Okay, we nothing substantial there. You know, John, I believe that the government they do call daily press conferences. Good, sorry. Aaron, morning.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm fine. Hi.
Yeah, I'm just interjecting. I just want to say something that have been of concern to me. And I'm a Jamaican. I'm living abroad, right? And there are some people. What I would love my country people to do is do their research before they go and speak. And a lot of people are speaking based on ignorance, are a supporter of a party. And right now, we don't need that in our country. We need unity. And for example, I heard people commenting on the fact that the government is getting the money and what is he doing with the money. What people don't realize is that when a country like England or Canada or the US donated, so they gave 7 million or 20 million to the Jamaican government, it's not in cash. They need to be informed. And somebody needs to inform these people.
No, sir. They know, sir. Listen to me. They know. They know, sir.
So why are they commenting that where's the money? Where's the money? We have to realize that it's all goes
you have to skew the truth so that you manipulate the ignorant.
Right. Okay.
That's
it bothers me. It bothers me to know that. Yeah, oh, Mr. Andrew Steve, and oh, where's the houses, and oh, where this? No, these things are coming. These government as a system that they have to work. It's like, for example, if the U.S. government says, I'm gonna give you $20 million, sometimes it's not even the same year. Sometimes it's 2 years. This thing is a long-term project that we are working. Jamaica is gonna take a while.
Don't you get the impression listening to the PNP this morning that we are 3 weeks into the hurricane and they thought that the country would have been put back together, sir?
Exactly. And it's total nonsense. And it's not right. It's not right what they're saying. Regardless of PNP or GLP. I'm saying to these people, you know what? An article was written here. I'm not going to say which part in Canada. And they try to explain that people are saying that the government is taking the money. They said 7 million was donated to the Caribbean organization. 2 million went to Haiti. No, $1 million went to Haiti and another country. 5 million went to the Jamaican government in kind. By the 2 million was given to the Red Cross. Another 2 million was given to the medical organization to provide supplies for the country. Now, when you get up as an ignorant person and say, well, it's 7 million, where's the money? You have to read, you got to research, you got to listen. And it antagonized me to listen at my people, and the world is listening and say, oh, I have people, why are your people so ignorant? No, they have to learn, read, and know what's going on. It's not just like that. And the disaster that happened the other day,
yes, years. I want you to understand the influence of politics, especially on Jamaica. People believe in their political parties more than they believe in the Bible.
Right.
You understand me? They see their political leaders as messiahs.
Right.
You notice they revere them.
You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna say something. We as Jamaican, a lot of us are too dependent. Now, when I say that, even if the government is gonna come in and help you, it's not gonna happen just like but you have to get up and say, you know what? Let me see what I can do with my house in the meantime, and then along the way, seek assistance. If you have the money, you can do it. Or wait until. But they expect the government to walk in tomorrow morning and send a guy in and say, put some roof on this house. It's not like that. And the money that the government is getting is for infrastructure. Meaning you got to fix. Look at the roads. Look right now. St. Elizabeth is underwater. It rains a couple of days ago, and because the earth is saturated. Are you gonna tell me that the government not doing anything? It's God's work. So what do? Prepare yourself. Make a better way of dealing with it until the system gets better. And I want to repeat this. A lot of Jamaicans who are talking don't realize that it's only 30% of Jamaicans pay taxes, and you can't expect that to do anything. Yep, okay, sir. If you pay the population of that country, only 30% pay taxes, where the rest of the money are coming.
I'm not so sure of that figure. I think it may be a little more than that.
Maybe I'm just, over the period. I'm just saying that 30% maybe more. But then it's not a lot of money. How many people get up and have a business and said, oh, pay me cash? It's hard. It's like you have in your household and have
responsive to deploying some
$100 for each time, and you're not getting, your income is less than what they need. But you have to find the money to give them somehow. What do? You go hustle? The government doesn't run like that. Another thing people need to know, they have to remember that when these grants are coming in, it's not gonna be the same day or same month. Some of them is promises made, written notes.
Yeah.
But you know, sir, but it's not gonna be the same day.
What is to be achieved? What is to be achieved by the PNP having this press conference? What is to be achieved?
No. You know what I'm looking at? It's hoping. This is how we have saying, the next election, let me put this out so the next election come, people can. Well, it's all cynical. A lot of it's cynical. I'm not talking about, but they need as a party to unite and stop talking and let the people know. Listen, I heard that gentleman yesterday, and I'm gonna call his name, Pat Moore in South Trelawney. I was watching a program. He was asking for donation. Somebody promised him $100 from the US, and he said that the JPS is treating them so bad, so this money, he has to go set up generator. And I said, why is he saying that when they are trying? It's not right saying these things, but it's all politics. And I want to say one more thing, Mr. My neighbor. If you remember the Haiti earthquake, if you do your research, have you known that? Anybody knows that the Red Cross got $1 billion and it's only one house was built in Haiti? And I want to leave it at that. This is a $1 billion and it's only one house was built in Haiti, and you can go and research it. And remember too, when the government of England or anybody give the Red Cross money, they have to pay the executive. There are people who have to be it's research and knowledge teaches these people need to stop talking and hearsay and follow what other people are saying. Go research. Okay? And you'll be a better person when you research and know what's going on and come on the ear and say what you have to say. Don't just come talk because you have a mic to speak. Don't do it. I love my people. I love my country. And right now, donation, local, I'm trying to send stuff to Jamaica. I was told that you're not going to get there until April next year. I leave it at that. April. So just imagine.
Imagine the amount of things we are coming.
Yeah, April next year before it's cleared.
Oh my God!
Remember, it's a rush. It's a rush. So it's people must realize that even the government is the same thing. It's an overnight.
But by the way, sir, maybe we can help you. Is barrel you want to ship down?
Yes. But because of the amount
in the UK,
because of the amount of,
you're in the UK.
I'm in Canada.
Canada, Okay.
Yeah, but because of the amount of stuff that are being shipped to the country and the clearing rate, and first of all, you got to get this thing packed, It's gonna take 2 to 3 weeks for the ship to reach Jamaica, and there's a backlog after the hurricane. They have to divert before the hurricane, a lot of things. So things that were supposed to be there ahead of time are now coming in. So it's gonna be a setback. It will go, it will be there, but it will take a while to reach. So it's my decision now to hold it or send it, but it's not gonna get there until March, December, January. I was told by the shipping company.
Yeah.
And a lot of these things are gonna be spoiled before they even reach where they're going.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for calling.
And I hope you have a good day. And just let your people know. If they, honestly, it's your show. But if somebody, you have to give everybody the time. But tell them to go inform themselves, research and get information before you speak. Don't tell people that the government, where the money the government is getting, Andrew is getting. He's not getting any cash in his hand, so to speak. It's all kind, everything. But these things has to be paid for by the government sending them. So when they say they send $10 million, it's all in goods, service, and everything, and it's all that. Not no cash in his hand.
The people know, sir. The people know. It's just they don't want to.
Well, too much. Well, God forbid, man. If my people are that, I know. You know, I was sorry. I'm gonna go. I was at a party the other night, and a gentleman jumped up and said, "And do a tea," because he might tell people, say some people have to get out, buy house. And I said to, I listened, and I realized he was not well informed. He was ignorant. I mean, just don't respond. You don't respond to people. You remain silent and let them talk. And when they will realize that, hey, you're not saying it. I only respond to people who are saying something good and positive. Thank you for your service, and I have a good day, sir.
Thanks for listening to. All right.
You know, neighbor.
Hold on, John. John, before you come in, John, let me hear you work this through, John. What is to be gained by this press conference the PNP is having? What is to be gained by? What are the what positive can come out of it?
When you have
all right, let me tell you what is the PNP objective this morning. The PNP was speaking to their PNP people in the affected area, and all they are interested in playing politics and to turn the people mind against the government. He just stopped short of calling the people to rise up. That's basically what that is their objective, neighbor.
Missing cases.
Yes, but I am asking you, sir, is there any positive message for Jamaica? Here is the opposition having a press conference. Is there anything positive that we're to gather from it?
From the Ministry of Health, and what are they saying about?
Neighbor, the only sensible thing that I hear come out of their mouth was the part about land reform. But I am saying that if the PNP was interested in working with the government, they could have been a part of the task force and laid those suggestions on the table and see how best the government can work through it. You understand?
So the members of parliament, I noticed that the leader of the opposition, well, he hasn't spoken yet. So the members of parliament in the affected area came out and shed tears and very sad about what's happening in their constituency. What is to be gained from that?
As a result of
nothing, neighbor, nothing at all.
How does that make
that not change the situation? That not change the situation that is on the ground.
Exactly. How does that change the situation? Isn't it better to engage the government in a constructive?
Engage the government and share whatever information that they are gathering.
Yes.
They still face some obstacles.
Yes.
You know, neighbor, it is just like with Jellica just, you know, the Minister of Justice went down to St. Elizabeth to spoke with the court staff because the court in Black River is being destroyed, right? The minister came down with 7 aid basket, right? 7, and he reached out to the 7th person who employed at the court. And Jellica just not even sure of the information that she was told, you know. And she run social media with that, accusing the minister have given out aid packet behind her back. And it was for 7 persons who is employed at the court. And I get to understand that these 7 persons who is employed to the court system were affected by the hurricane. Some of them roof totally blew off.
Dengue and
And them have politicized that, what the Minister of Justice did.
miles away from Cuba.
Yes, and she was suggesting that the minister is politicizing distribution when the minister was coming down to help staff from his ministry.
In Jamaica, over 1 million.
Just 7 persons from his staff, just to meet with them, spoke with them, motivate them. And you know, walk with you too long, and just like when a person grieve, just like neighbor, if you have a neighbor and your neighbor have a tragic loss, when you have go visit them, you know, walk with you too long, and that's the nature of Jamaican.
More likely than others, and we try to stay.
Good morning, neighbor. We can jump in quickly to the question that you asked, John. Yeah, the question that you asked, John.
Right now.
Yeah, I just want to add my little tools. It's a money cry because I just went on and listened to them. It's a money cry.
They're asking for money.
Yes, it's a money cry. It sounds like a money cry, and they do it before, and it clearly sounds like a money cry, and it's to damage every reputation of the government. That's what I'm saying.
You don't think that the PNP's almost sympathetic plea with some of them are crying?
No.
That the government's heart is going to be steered to giving them some more money?
Listen, neighbor. The government cannot take up billions of dollars and do what it wants. Because if they do so, it's going to mess up the entire country. We can't think like the PNP them. Mr. Wallace cannot think like these mad people. And don't tell me
hold on.
Don't call them mad. Don't tell me say they are hungry for power. That's a number one. And they want more money. That's what they are craving for. I was listening. I can't listen to Wallet because when them talk, they just make me get upset. So me not listen to Wallet. I just listen to Peace. The thing with them have. Because I'm surprised them have press conference. They're power hungry. And they want to destroy the reputation of the government. Because people down there are working at all of them constituencies when they talk about.
So you don't think that there is anything positive coming out of this press conference?
I don't hear nothing positive. Nothing positive. Then when me not even can get there's a look heads up when him say the health system help out and can give them credibility. Me can't give him that. But I don't hear nothing positive in there. All me hear is crying for money.
So all the PNP put out the MPs today, because one would have thought, Jerome, that an opposition having a press conference would be outlining some policy, some positive recommendations
to the government,
give a general overview of the situation, say how they are working with the government. Isn't that what you would expect?
Of course, but this is not your typical PNP. These are the lying PNPs, you know, led by the wicked opposition, the background opposition leader. These are not a typical PNP, so you're not going to get a unit. Make we just get this out of our head. We will never get the opposition to unify with the government. Throw that through the door and through the window. It's not going to happen.
You don't see any unity coming out of this? Not going to happen.
No, it never going to happen. Not with the current MP that we have here. Because you call in a press conference, you must, all of these stuff you could have laid to have a meeting, call for the Prime Minister, sit down and talk to him. And everybody work together. But that will never happen. That will never happen. So make we just get that out everything where we are trying to look for the opposition work with the government. With them wicked mentality that them have, it will never happen.
What the government should do from here on in is just move on with their agenda of recovery. Forget the opposition.
Just move on. Them not gonna work with him. I don't see it. Because calling a press conference, my MP went down to, as me here now talk, my MP went down there to help persons, to help him workers. And then the woman put up video say him come down there, him don't talk to her. Never call him and say, sir, you're going to call and talk to the people them? Him say, Jerome, we're going to take care of the people we work with the ministry. So
your MP tell you that?
Then right, Chuck.
You tell you that?
Because him start send out a letter in the group, because we have a WhatsApp group. Him going to take care of people them. And them, as we say, we will never get to work with these people. Don't look feet, neighbor. Them not going to unify with it. I was looking.
But then, Jerome, do you think the government need the support of the opposition in the reconstruction effort? A lot of their MPs are from the constituencies that are affected.
But neighbor, them now go work with the government properly. All them are going to do is undermine. That's all them are going to do. So it don't make no sense. You don't need them at the moment. Go on with the building and leave them aside. Because it don't make no sense.
You know, neighbor, I tried to say to you the other evening, that what the PMP really set out to achieve here, the negative campaign that they run leading up to September 3rd, were able to increase their margin in the parliament. And it just stop short of them forming government. So they're gonna continue down that line, because what they are doing, they are realizing that they are appealing to the PMP lumped. Dan Robotham usually wrote article for the Gleaner speaking about the lumped in the politics in this country now, neighbor.
Lumped.
And that's what Darrett the PMP was appealing to this morning. Listen, I tried to be objective as best as possible, and I did not hear nothing of substance come out of that press conference. I am totally for land reformation in this country, neighbor, right? Because I believe that without government intervene and regularize some of this squatter scheme and put in proper infrastructure, we will continue to have these problems when we have a natural disaster. Because many of these squatter community, they're not even their place where it's suitable for living, and there's no infrastructure there, and the house not built by no building code or nothing. So I personally believe that those informal settlement must be reformed or transformed. But I believe that what they are saying could easily sit down with the Prime Minister and have dialogue. Neighbor, it is dialogue that get things done, you know.
You know, sir, the information minister told the Senate last week Friday that the opposition leader WhatsApp the Prime Minister regularly, sir. And the information minister said the Prime Minister forward the messages to her so that she could provide answers, so that he could respond to the opposition leader. So this is not these two men are not talking.
But it make it seem that they're not talking.
That is the impression you're giving here.
Yes, that's what he's doing.
You know, so Jerome, how are things with Mr. Chuck?
He's good enough. He's good. This is his last term. His daughter next. His daughter will be our MP when he step aside.
I see.
Yes,
wow.
Man.
And you're a regular listener to this program?
Yeah, I'm start listening. I'm call you one day and talk, you know. It teach me a lot. As when a gentleman came on and said, Porsche started the risk management thing for Storm and them something, and the brother shut him down and teach me something.
Yes.
I listen to your program, man. Your program is educational. Me get educated when I listen to your program.
Oh Lord, listen to?
Me go start make him listen. Me go forward it to him.
Yes.
Me go start make him listen.
You must arrange for us to talk to him one of these days.
I will try and get in touch with him and make sure him come on and talk with you. But just a look point, you know, in the United States they got a storm a couple of years ago. You know them don't recover now.
Yeah, I know that.
So how a look a small economy like Jamaica? This is what
the opposition leader is talking. Let's see if we can hear a little bit of what he has to say.
Hurricane hit Jamaica. First one was about a week after the hurricane hit. We're now about 4 weeks since that date, 3 weeks since the press conference. And I wanted to have the elected representatives of the people in the constituencies that have been extremely badly affected to have the chance. I wanted to give them a chance to describe to the media and the public what they're experiencing and the deficiencies in the response, the gaps that need to be filled, and the decisions that need to be taken. This is not to be anything other than responsible representatives of the people to bring to the attention of the authorities and the public what needs to be done to make the overall response more effective. We know that there are hundreds of thousands of people whose lives have been turned upside down by this cataclysmic event. And the effects of that event are ongoing. We talk about phases and initial response morphing into recovery and other phases. But the truth is that because of the very ad hoc arrangements that have been put in place thus far, the level of normalcy and stability that have returned to the lives of people in the badly affected areas is very erratic. Some people have received relief because of good fortune, happen to be living close to the major arterial roads, or they have had the benefit of interventions from international and local NGOs and disaster relief organizations. But many, many others have had little or no interventions. And so the situation is not an even one. And there are far too many people still who are suffering from the initial effects of this hurricane. The opposition, as I said at the first press conference, and I want to repeat it now, we must not seek to score political points as a competitor of the government. This is not the time for that. We've just gone through a general election nearly 2 months ago. This is a time when Jamaica is facing a huge disaster, an economic disaster, a social disaster, a humanitarian disaster. And the role of the opposition at a time like this is to help the government to respond as effectively as possible, because we want Jamaica to get back on its feet. We represent people who need that to happen. So when you see us have disagreement on a particular issue, it is not as a result of being attacked or being trivial or petty. We take issue with those things that we think are fundamental and that we should not allow to be implemented in the originally proposed way, because it will have a deleterious effect. It will have an effect on the governance of the country or on the response to the disaster, which is suboptimal and needs to be improved. And that is how we have been attempting to approach this. Equity, transparency, and accountability are vital in the response to a disaster. We have heard numerous reports that political representatives of the governing party are being used to distribute government relief, taxpayer funded or donor funded through the government relief in ways which they have no legal or political standing constitutionally to play that role. Elected representatives must be included in things that are happening in their constituency so that they have information, so that their information can be shared with those who are operating on the ground, and you can work together with all stakeholders, including those who are representing the other side of the political fence, to get the best possible solution in a difficult situation. That is not happening. I have been bringing these incidents as I hear of them. I have been bringing them to the attention of the Prime Minister through WhatsApp. He has not responded to me at all since last week, the Saturday before last, 10 days ago. I have not heard from him in response to any of my messages. So when the Minister of Information says that we have been communicating constantly, that is simply untrue. There has been a total cessation of any communication.
He realized a WhatsApp of evidence. No, no, it's a WhatsApp of evidence.
The Prime Minister stopped talking.
No ride, strike landslide. 45.
Hold on, this is not fair. But John, you gone?
I'm still here.
Mr. Goldin said the Prime Minister stopped talking to him. Eh? Boy, I tell you something, Joe.
You know, neighbor. I just want to say this, Mr. Goldin, I'm speaking to you direct, sir. The Prime Minister of Jamaica is not a petty person. Prime Minister is not as petty as you are, sir. And I don't want you, sir, to come on no public platform can give the impression that the Prime Minister of Jamaica is petty or common-minded like you. Talk about Prime Minister not speak to you. The Prime Minister invites you and your team to be a part of a task force going forward to deal with this catastrophe.
I've not heard.
Well, but what the Minister of Information said is that the PM forward her the messages. Okay, I'm going to listen back to what can we hear back from the minister? Can we hear back from the minister?
Flexibility on government policy. That's actually something Richard made this weekend. And remember, there is also Minister Grange by the find. And so we as a government feel that we have a responsibility to the people of Jamaica. And so we did not err in a...
Go ahead, John. Let me see if I can find what the minister said. Go ahead.
Yes, neighbor. So
the terms so that it was more beneficial.
Yeah, go ahead, Jerome.
And I think we're standing by.
That's what John said. Him just petty. Him very petty. Every man that talk to you, him begs, but WhatsApp approve. WhatsApp store stuff. So if the Prime Minister respond to him, you will, because the Prime Minister can put out that. Bear in mind, this man is a liar, so we can't take everything.
Here's what the minister says. Here's the minister.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Prime Minister hosted a meeting at Jamaica House to update the opposition on the hurricane and the plans. In that meeting, you had the Met Office, you had ODPEM there, you had Minister of Energy there. All the key persons were there to give a specific update to the opposition. At that meeting, I was in that meeting. In that meeting, the opposition gave some really good ideas to the government. And we took all of them on. And we took them on in a very respectful tone. At that meeting, we had the opposition leader, Mr. Mark Golding. We also had Mr. Julian Robinson, the spokesperson on finance and public service. We had Dr. Angela Brown-Burke. We also had Mrs. Yvonne Rosemary Shaw was there. And it was a very productive It was a very productive meeting, and I was very glad that that meeting took place, and it was really the kind of spirit that Jamaica doesn't see. I mean, when they see the back and forth in here, they don't realize that these kinds of initiatives happen where we talk, we're respectful to each other, we listen to each other, and we listen to the suggestions that are coming from the other side. And so that has happened. I also know I get WhatsApps that are forwarded to me from the leader of the opposition because he's talking to the PM, and sometimes there are questions that I have to answer.
Hold on. He's talking. I get WhatsApp that are forwarded to me because he's talking to the leader of the opposition. Give us a little more of the minister.
They're constantly in dialogue, and so this notion that there's no communication is not really so. It's not.
Hold on. Well, there you go. There you have it. This notion that there is no communication is not really so. Now, is it that the Prime Minister WhatsApps the Information Minister the messages, or does he WhatsApp the conversation? Very interesting. Let's hear what Mr. Golding has to say. Listen to the opposition leader.
From him in response to any of my messages.
Back up a little.
Those who are representing the other side of the political fence to get us the best possible solution in a difficult situation. That's not happening. I have been bringing these incidents as I hear of them. I have been bringing them to the attention of the Prime Minister through WhatsApp. He has not responded to me at all since last week, the Saturday before last, 10 days ago. I have not heard from him in response to any of my messages. So when the Minister of Information says that we have been communicating constantly, that is simply untrue. There has been a total cessation of any communication, and certainly coming in my direction from the Prime Minister. I note that there's a decision that has been taken to enact legislation.
There you have it. Well, you decide. The opposition leader says none of his WhatsApp messages has been responded to, and the Prime Minister has stopped talking to him.
Even the Prime Minister stopped talking for 10 days. The Prime Minister was at the G20.
The Prime Minister has stopped talking to him.
So when the Prime Minister come back, he will talk to him.
Mr. Bagodi is not happy. PM, why have you, Mr. Perkins? Please, I don't know what is happening here in Jamaica.
Oh gosh, I can't believe me. Hi, boy, I tell you something. This is all very exciting.
You know, John. This is classic radio. This is classic. I tell you. We're gonna get back to this. I'm out of time. John.
Yes, neighbor.
The opposition leader said that PM has ceased talking to him. Boy.
You see, neighbor, listen to what the Minister of Information said.
By the way, Mr. Golding always does this. He always seeks to, embarrass the Prime Minister. I don't know that this is for public.
If they embarrass the Prime Minister. No.
But truthfully, if you and the Prime Minister are having private WhatsApp conversations, you don't need to come out into the public to say the Prime Minister is not responding to you.
forward the message to her to this question. What is wrong with that? Nothing at all wrong with that.
Well, I'm questioning the whole matter of confidentiality. That I don't think the public needs to know that
the opposition and the Prime Minister talk about.
No,
when they speak.
When they speak.
This man lying, so we have to know. If you put out everything, I'm very lying.
No, in a democracy, you see, sir, and to also for national security, there are things that the member and the Prime Minister and the opposition leader,
John,
and the public must not be privileged to hear those discussions.
John,
for national security purpose.
John,
and yes, I'm hearing you, sir. Sorry to speak when they were talking.
This man, this opposition leader, is not a truthful person. So while the Prime Minister have to be very careful, because he come out and tell lie upon him there, he have to be very careful that anything him talk with him, he make sure it's recorded.
You're serious about that, sir? Said the opposition.
Mark Bowling, this is what trouble me with him, you know. There are places that the government now gonna reach. Him go there. Me live a Barbican. The government will come a Barbican, come drop off.
Sorry about that.
That's
go ahead.
The government will come a Barbican, come drop off anything. And him come a Barbican. Him put out him come on social media. Check no? Him there in a Barbican, you know. And in a speech a while ago, him said there are some areas that don't get.
And then tell us which era.
I'm tell you which era. This is what trouble me with this wicked man. And neighbor don't tell me don't call him wicked.
And the other things, sir, the other thing, Jerome.
Yeah.
They are also soliciting fund for the hurricane relief. Why is it that they don't use that fund and reach the era then when claims the government reach?
You know, the woman say $10 million done.
All right. Let's take a little bit more of the opposition leader.
To establish a new reconstruction agency, the acronym NARA, National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority, I believe, which will have wide powers to ensure that decisions can be taken very quickly when it comes to rebuilding, for example. I know that this is something that the private sector have been agitating for, and I see the need for it. But where you are circumventing normal procedures because the circumstances that we're in require that, it is all the more important that the thing be done in a transparent manner and that all critical stakeholders should be at the table when those decisions are being taken or being reviewed. The Prime Minister, in making that announcement, spoke of a broad-based governance structure for this new authority. I had called for something of that nature right after the hurricane. I wrote to him about it. However, I noticed that he, at his press conference when he announced it, he made no mention of the opposition being at the table. I don't know whether that omission was inadvertent or deliberate, but I can tell you that if we want Jamaica to get back on her feet as quickly as possible, if we want to avoid social dislocation, and if we want people to feel that the response is equitable, is well designed, and is without political bias, it is important that critical stakeholders be at the table. And the opposition, with 28 seats in the parliament and almost the same number of votes in the last election as the government, should be part of that process. We are willing to serve, but we are currently being excluded. All of the committees that have been established under the cabinet, including the private sector committees and so on, the opposition is not present on any of those committees. The one concern I have as well is in the way in which the post-Melissa response effort is being administered. Jamaica has a robust legal framework for responding to disasters. The National Emergency Response legislation called the Disaster Risk Management Act, which we passed in 2015 and which the government used extensively during the pandemic. Despite the Constitution having provisions for states of national disaster to be declared, and there's a constitutional framework for addressing it, the government preferred to use the disaster risk legislation to respond to the pandemic. What we have seen in relation to this disaster is that it is effectively being marginalized, partly because ODPEM, which is a critical institution within that legislative framework, has been denuded of authority, status, and capacity over the last decade. And this is unfortunate because the legal framework which exists in Jamaica is well designed in accordance with international standards.
All right,
and it
we're running out of time. Let's see what Gustav. Gustav, morning.
Yeah, morning, my neighbor. Greetings.
How are you, sir? What's on your mind?
I'm doing okay, giving thanks as always. I was also listening to the press conference for nothing from the PMP.
Gustav, my friend, good day, good afternoon.
Respect to you, Mr. John. Yes. And neighbor, as I would have told you many days ago, that the PMP in this pandemic is being PMP. They are not being representatives or patriots for the people. When they negotiate and when they propose, they do not propose on behalf of the people. In general, they propose on behalf of comrades. And you can hear that coming out indirectly whenever they speak. And you can also recognize, neighbor, that they are trying to gather some momentum, get some people to rally around the PMP in a crisis like this. When I even listen to the spokesperson on health, Dr. Alfred Jaws, neighbor, and his utterances, I ask myself if this man forgot that MPs and councillors are also arms of government. And if he has such wonderful proposals he feels to himself, why not start the ball or get the ball rolling on your side by making sure that your member of parliaments who are currently MPs in devastated areas to lead from the front? I mean, has there been any sort of lobby in the regard that Mr. Dawes is proposing on his member of parliament's behalf that are on his side? Because mathematically, the PMP MPs or the PMP itself then has more MPs that would have been, well, for them areas, neighbor, are really devastated. So more PMP MPs have devastated areas. So my arguments are to myself, I was saying then if you have these proposals, your MPs are not only persons that are supposed to act in physical, they are supposed to propose on the people's behalf, lobby on the people's behalf. So why is he the one lobbying for crisis in areas where his MPs are MP? Why not get them going with the proposals that he has? Because seeing that they are the ones faced with the challenges, you don't need to propose that to the government as if it's a general problem across all constituencies. Your MPs have the situations to deal with, so they are best to actually start what he is proposing. And I also overhear the opposition leader, neighbor, speaking about how the aid is being distributed. And may I say to myself, what kind of mischief making this? Because and
there's an echo there. Go ahead. No.
And may I say, if this man aware of how much I say, because obviously the reality on the ground is far from what Mr. Golden is saying. Because actually what Mr. Golden is saying right now is what the PMP is most guilty of right now, sir. The PMP MPs, we can call them by names, man. Andrea Perkins, all of them, Zulika Jess, all of these people, sir, are politicizing literally the aid being offered by the government and other persons. For example, when Zulika carries Shelley and Fraser throughout Northeast or wherever she took her, the areas that she took her in Northeast, these are areas where predominantly you can look at the numbers in a local government election and a general election. These are areas where mostly and predominantly PMP people than the other areas where they are not strong as PMP. Them not carry the aid go there, so sir. Where anywhere them feel like them not strong enough, them not can nobody will come there with aid go there, so them keep on carry the people them straight to where their base is, literally, right? Because those that are coming with the aid neighbor, them some of them are no PMP and them are no GLP. But them things say them are do the patriotic thing, not knowing say while them are be patriotic, the persons that are in charge of the people them in the constituencies are not being patriotic. Them are try to score political points. And again, neighbor, they have more MPs that are faced with devastation from the hurricane. So that means they are most guilty of what they are actually alleging. So when people see on the ground and actually probably have videos with the Prado that Zulika just has her image on that was used in the campaign, distributing aid. That vehicle does not stop at random and distribute aid. What is Mr. Golden saying? That Prado with his MP, his member of parliament, Jess, when that Prado drive to Northeast St. Elizabeth, sir, there has not been a Prado at a random place where anybody or group of people are. Whenever it stops, neighbor, it stops at specific. And in fact, people from that one will probably tell us, say, oh, go on to the MP. That's not nice. That's not nice. You have to just spread the glory. You understand? I don't know. Like say, at times we politicize it. You have to spread the glory and she not do it. You understand me? She literally take it to fear base. So when him said that not look good.
Yeah. So I'm asking Gustav, because I must wrap this soon. What is to be gained from all of this? Is there any positive that can come out of this press conference the PNP has held? Gustav? No. He's we've lost him.
He's still there near. It seems like he got a call.
Okay. All right, John. We've run out of time. Just wrap this for me, no? Let's come back later on.
Yes, neighbor. My final 2 cents is that, neighbor, I don't know how it is going to come about, but we definitely need a way to galvanize ourselves as a people around the situation. It is obvious, neighbor, that our society is broken. It is divided, right? I don't know who is going to become the truth breaker, because even the very same church, neighbor, was supposed to be an institution of peace and not about divide, also taking side. So I don't know where this truth breaker will come from, but we definitely need that, neighbor. And I just want to thank you, neighbor, for your program. That it continues to inform, it continues to educate, it continues to balance the equation. And I wanted to say thank you for the privilege that you give me each day to share on your program. I really learn a lot. And I just want to say, not to flatter you, neighbor, but I think you leave that, I think you're filling that vacuum that Monty Perkins leave in media.
Oh my goodness, sir, please, you're flattering me.
Yeah, man, that's true, neighbor. It's obviously true to me.
Okay, well, the challenge we're having is that, you know, we should be, the program should be from 9 to 10. And we have been going from 9. You know, it's 12:30. Boy, I don't know what's happening. I'm gonna have to talk to Caroline. They're not treating me good at all, you know. You know that, John?
Yes, neighbor. I know, neighbor. I know, but you know what happened in a neighbor.
But there's a serious need for this space between 10 and 2 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to look at it, and between 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock. We're gonna have to look at what can be done to fill that space. Caroline, what can Politics Plus do to get on between 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock and between 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock? Caroline, you want to come up and tell me? Is she there? She's quiet, you know. She doesn't want to. All right, so we're gonna have to look at it. We're gonna sponsorship. She says sponsorship. The sponsorship is off. I think a lot of our callers are being burdened, but it is not. See, yeah, we don't have the support to do that. So if you're in Jamaica, 876-858-9553, 876-858-9553, and if you're in the United States, look out on the screen right now. The Zelle and Cash App information is coming to you. See what you can do to help us spend more time online. I think we are looking at doing it, but we can't do it without your support.
Hi.
Good morning. Good morning, Caroline.
Well, it's actually afternoon now. Good afternoon.
Good. Oh yes, 26 after 12, and we've been here from 9 o'clock.
Good afternoon, Caroline. Good afternoon.
I see we
Hi,
have.
everyone. Hello, Jerome.
Good afternoon.
You know, Caroline. You know that.
Hold on there, John. We have 254 and 386. 254 and 386 are how much? 254, 386. 640. Our audience right now is about 640. 640. Imagine that. Here you go, Caroline.
I think John was saying something.
Yeah, I was just simply saying that your voice sounds similar to Mrs. Perkins.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Mrs. Perkins.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard her voice before.
Yeah, man, she usually be the one who read the emails for Mr. Perkins.
I see. But John, you know, I'm going to be in your area very soon. Can I get a breadfruit?
No, the breadfruit, them are just coming back.
Oh, okay.
You're not gonna get any fit one.
I see. Well, I'll still come and look for you, okay? So send me your phone number.
Okay. But at the same time, I'm going to check, and if I get any, I will let you know. I send my phone number to neighbor Sunday. It's in neighbor inbox.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll get it from him then, huh?
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And you were saying neighbor?
Well, I was saying that the audience that we are leaving right now is over 600. Over 600 people are now listening to the Politics Plus program. Not to mention what we have at nights, thousands of people, and that the people would stay with us until we leave. But you know, somehow we are leaving a vacuum every time we're off. You know, there's a vacuum that needs to be filled, and I think that we're going to have to really look at that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But it is what it is.
Well, as soon as you're able to get the sponsorship, then we'll be able to fill those spaces.
Right. We may have to look at getting some other hosts like Scratchy.
That's right. I was just about to say that.
Yeah, and he could do his own show. That right now, Scratchy could pick up, Where is he?
Somewhere there.
Yes, he could pick up. Or even yourself.
Absolutely not. Never.
Maybe John.
John Major?
No, neighbor, I think Gustav would be a good fit.
Okay.
Scratchy is there. Who else? Somebody else will come on the live always. This new guy here, Russian here. Ari Enriquez.
Yeah.
Very bright and articulate young man.
Yeah, I tell you. Anyway, the listeners are going to be disappointed with Gustav because we have to run. But we are hoping to keep the platform open and up for more hours to give you the best information. And also to tell you that here we go now, signing off at 12:30 to go produce a program for 7 o'clock. That's
and you know what happened, neighbor? If a man I was supposed to go to work.
Look at that.
Program have me hook. It's a good thing I am self-employed.
Yes. I
it's
think
a good thing I run my own thing, neighbor.
That we are going to have to go listening now to the entire press conference that the PNP had. That's going to take us another hour and a half so that we can find whatever is being said. Then we're going to have to go all over the place and come right back so we can be here for 7 o'clock. So it takes a lot of work to get this done. Because we could come on at 7 and just start talking and give everybody a chance, but we don't want to do it like that. We prefer to be a little bit more.
Well,
anyway.
what I notice is that a lot of the other platforms, they tend to have something kind of free flowing where people just come on and speak. But I don't know if I don't think that's what you offer, eh?
Not at all.
Right.
Not at all. And I also noticed that we actually struggle. I mean, I don't know why. We actually struggle to get people to talk to at nights. It's almost like you have 300 odd people and they don't want to come and talk to us. What's happening?
I have no clue. Maybe because you have analysts like Harry and Scratchy that just breaks it down into all the different pieces. And, we have a clear understanding of what they're saying. There's no need for us to participate.
You're so right.
Jerome, you are saying that's correct?
She's very correct. Because most time I just come on and listen. Because when them break down the stuff, you get the understanding. You have some educated people on this platform that break down stuff, including yourself. That break down stuff for people to understand. So I agree with her.
We're going to stop breaking it down and let the callers come up and talk.
No. You can't stop breaking it down. You have to teach. You have to teach. We
can't talk for 3 hours, sir. We're talking for 3 hours and when we say to the listeners, it's your time, everybody just say, they not talk. No, sir, we're going to have to break it. We're going to have to stop it.
What time tonight, just again, come on?
What time? Yeah. 7 o'clock. All right, so say hi to Mr. Chuck for me.
I will. I'm going to try my best to get him on your program.
Yeah. And he doesn't have to worry about it. We can talk justice and constitutional reform.
All right. All right. Thank you very much for having me.
No problem. Take care of yourself. All right. So we are going to sign off now. And wow, hundreds of people still up with us. John Major, thank you, sir.
Yes, neighbor, and thank you too. I'm going to run because I'm going to work.
You're late for work, sir? You're going to be late for work?
Neighbor, I'm a builder by profession, so I don't have to be on the job every day. But I'm going to go now and have a look.
Okay. And I suspect that you have a lot of opportunities now with reconstruction all across Jamaica, at least in several parishes.
Yes, neighbor, but I'm a kind of skeptical person, neighbor. You see, I don't like to work in crisis and mayhem. Trust me. You know, even those big hotel when they are doing construction and those big hotel, I always refuse to take jobs. Even the other day, I get an offer to go to St. Hanover to work on a hotel, and I refuse. Because when you have those big job neighbor, you come across all different type of unscrupulous person. Extortionist, gunman, all of those persons. So I try to avoid those type of construction sites.
Oh.
So I do my little thing. I just wait till when I get a house for myself to do. Yeah. So I'm presently now doing a house.
Well, that's nice, sir. I'm sure. Caroline?
Yes, neighbor?
I see Tony send you a message there.
Tony. Who's Tony? Okay.
In the chat.
Okay. Just a moment.
Yeah, yes, so John, you're running off to work until later, right?
Yes, neighbor. I'll catch up with you at 7 o'clock.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So Tony is in Canada. You know, my listeners detained me last night, and I shall not be detained today.
Tony, can you please let us know?
All right.